Hi, everybody. How's it going? It's Sunday today. Hopefully, everybody is having a good weekend. Hopefully, nobody has to work today. I'm sure some people have to work. That's just the way it is. But hopefully, none of my people that I know have to work, or anybody viewing this has to work. That's the hope. Uh, Hope you all had a good week. I had a good week. Hope you all are staying on top of your weight loss journeys. I'm still maintaining, still at 118. I took my medication yesterday. I actually took a 10 milligram just because I have a bunch that I have to get rid of. And this was actually brand name, so I couldn't really break it up. Although I know you could take the pen and inject it into another syringe and, separate it that way. But, for the 2.5 extra, I wasn't going to go through all that. Um, that's just me. So I haven't been very hungry yesterday or today. Hopefully I won't lose weight because that's not my intention. Like I said, I just have some that I needed to use. So hope everybody is up to date with what's happening with the compounds. The court has made a decision that they're going to keep the medication tirzepatide off of the shortage list. So if you do find it hard to get, please report it to the FDA's website because that'll help get the medication back onto the shortage list. They've agreed that March 19th is the date, but they're also going to wait to see what happens with the injunction that the OFA has against the FDA. Like I said, this is everything that was expected. Again, we have to just kind of sit, wait and see. I've talked to somebody at Mochi, and they seem to think that their altered doses and putting the B vitamins into their compound will let them keep selling it. Orderly seems to think that also. Worst case scenario, if for some reason that isn't true, they're going to let them keep shipping it out to the bud date, which is best used by date. So, that some of them are like a year or so out. And I'm sure if they know something's going to happen, a little bit before, they're going to extend those bud dates as long as they could so that they can keep selling. It's too big of a business. It's not going anywhere. And as a matter of fact, Nova Nordisk wants to take semaglutide off of or they've taken it off of the shortage list themselves, waiting to see what the FDA says. So they're going to be going through the same type of thing very shortly. So we'll see what happens with that. I guess they're letting Eli Lilly put down, the playbook, and they're just going to follow it. Again, this is just such a big business. Compounding companies have been around for so long that they're going to find a way. I'm really not too worried about it. Excuse me. And if I do get worried about it, I'll let you know. Keep in mind if you're using the compounding companies, because even I do have a little bit of a stockpile. I'm not totally worried about it, but I do want to have some on hand. But keep in mind when you are ordering, and it was taking you 4 or 5 days, from the time you put in your order till you got it. It's probably going to be a little bit longer now because they're dealing with massive amounts of people ordering it. Because they say about 22% of people that are on the GLP-1 medications are using compounding companies, pharmacies for their medication. So not only will Eli Lilly have to take care of the customers, they do have new customers, which they're writing out about. I think it's like 2 million prescriptions, plus, maintaining them, plus all the people coming over from the compounding companies. So that's a lot that they're going to have to take care of, and we'll just have to see how that goes. Now, Eli Lilly themselves has admitted that they can drop the prices, which I think is what's ultimately if they want to take away the compounding, they're ultimately going to have to do, because, if they came within $50 of the compounding companies, or $60, I'd switch to name brand. I think most people would too, but, and they have the power. They say they have the power to do it. They just want to make the money while they can, and they say it's going for research for other things, but they still have money for research. I mean, look at retatrutide. They're expected to have their final studies come in at the end of the year, at which time they'll probably apply for to the FDA so that they could sell it, so that for the approval. And I said, I don't know how much they're planning on getting for that, but the more competition in the market, the better it is for us, the better the prices will be. Uh, hopefully they won't be. That one in itself might be very expensive, but you know the if the Monjero or Zepbound is like 1,000 to 1,200, and they have the other one for, let's say, 1,500, they're not going to sell a lot of Zepbound. People are going to go with the stronger, newer, better, best thing, latest to come out, and then they won't be able to sell it. So somewhere the price is going to have to change. And like I said, they are going in the right direction with the vials. Uh, I do like that their vials are single dose, so you don't really have to worry. Oh, did I drop too much? Yeah, no accidental overdoses or anything like that. Uh, but on the opposite side, thing with compounding is, like, if you want to play around with your dose, for example, I have a bunch of vials of 10 and I'm really on 7.5. So I don't draw, I do the math. I look at the directions. There's also charts on the internet of how much, how many units you would draw up to make it be 7.5. And then you get a little bit extra, or just the opposite. If you have 10 and you want to try 12, you just draw up a little more. Okay. They do give you a little bit extra, probably not enough for the 4 doses to make them 12.5, but you play around with the doses and see what's good for you, which basically playing around with these doses is what the compounding pharmacies are going to be doing now. For example, instead of 7.5, they're going to give people 6.6, 16.5, or 16.6 is equivalent to the 15. Don't know exactly how they got over what is the FDA allowed, but you know that's up to them. I don't use that high of a dose, so for me that doesn't matter. But it probably has something to do with what they're adding to it. But I'm not an expert on that. Uh, Might be something that I want to look up and do a video on. But like I said, it's only one company that I know of, Join Mochi, that does that. The others have gone down. So that's the latest on the compounding. And I also put a bunch of videos out, one of them being on the retatrutide. I have another one coming out on retatrutide, I believe either today or tomorrow, because that's going to be the triple agonist. So it's going to not only do the Glp-1 and the GIP, they have something else also added. So that's going to be the top of the line one now. So actually in a year, but so that video's come out. I did one on red light, and does it help? I think it does. One of the keys to the red lights is you want to make sure that it's a good red light. Don't have the exact numbers, but I believe it's something between 450 and 700 or something like that is what you want on your home ones. Um, and the trick to that is you have to be consistent. And if you're not going to use it at least 5 days a week, it's really not going to do much help. But there is a difference when you do it like 5 times a week or more. Uh, you don't want to overdose on it, because then it's not so good for the skin. But I brought a couple of them in here to show you. This is the face one, and turns on, you get the red light. It's got a 10-minute timer. And like I said, I try to use that like 4 times a week. But as I was doing my research on this, they recommend at least 5 times. So I guess I'll just up it. It's got the little eye hole, so I could do it while I'm watching TV, whatever. I just can't have my glasses on, which I could see pretty good. I just can't really read without my glasses, or I wouldn't want to like drive, but I could see pretty good without them. So that's one. This is one of my favorite red light things. Uh, we got this at one of the spa places in the mall, and start up. Press down on it, and it also heats up. And you pretty much have to use a really good moisturizer right before to get it to slide around. Um, of course, we went into the mall, and it was a cosmetic skin moisturizer type place, and they said, "Oh, this is ours." They grabbed my phone. "Oh, where's your Amazon?" "Oh, look, $999 for this." Actually, I'm sorry, it was $9,000 for this. I'm like, "You're crazy." Of course, we ended up getting this for free if we bought like $1,000 worth of their moisturizers and so forth. So I don't know how true, or if they put that Amazon thing up there, which very well possibly could be, because anybody could advertise it on Amazon, what they want to sell, and put their price on it. Because, like I said, I ended up not even paying for it. So, there's something with that. I also like these glasses for under the eyes. They have the on off here. I don't know if I have them checked. They have a little bit of the red light, and see that on there. And then they just go like for under your eyes. Again, recommended that you do this at least 5 times a week. And again, I was only doing it 3 to 4. I guess I'll have to up it. These go off automatically after 10 minutes. I also do have the belt ones, that I use on my stomach, and that I do notice a difference. And basically, I don't know if some of it's water fat, but what some of the science is behind it is that uh, it, as the red light is on, it helps your body to produce collagen, and collagen is very important with the skin tightening and so forth. So that's one way that it works. Again, you have to be very consistent with the red light. Hi, Shaquille. How you doing? Thanks for joining us on the live. We talked about the compounding companies and what's happening with them. We've now moved on to red light. We'll probably go back a little bit to the compounding, what's happening with them a little bit later, but telling people all about the red light. Now, keep in mind, what you buy on Amazon is not the same as when you go to some of these spas or these dermatology places that have the red light, because they pay, 35 to 55, $65,000 for their red light. I'm paying between 75 and 250 on Amazon. So there's going to be a little bit of difference, but both things are be consistent, and 5 days a week, 5 times a week at least. They say you could do it twice a day, but you shouldn't do that every day. Again, I kind of do it while I'm chilling and watching TV, and winding down before I go to bed. That seems to work for me. I enjoy the red light products. I went to the gym today, and they have a what they call total body enhancement. I put a short out on it, and it's got one of those pedestals that move up and down, different speeds and so forth. And their selling feature to that is, oh, you're using your muscles to keep your balance. And yeah, I guess somewhat it is a little bit true, but you're not using much as way of the muscles to do that. It's kind of like standing. Yes, you're burning more calories when you're standing than when you're sitting, but not an amount that's really going to do anything. But and then you're in the red light. Again, it's not the greatest of red lights in there, but it's very relaxing. I have my phones on. I'm, chilling to my music, and I'm doing that. And there is science. They say it helps with the circulation. Yes, the jiggling up and down. It massages, and it does help with the circulation. There's no doubt about it. A little better circulation burns some calories. Probably, but like I said, nothing that's really measurable that's going to really make a difference as far as weight loss. People do say it is good for if your back hurts, and also good for your legs. What I do know that it's really good for is moving your lymphatic system around, because I've been to a lot of trainers and exercise places that tell you to pound on your back a little bit when you're done, because that helps the lymphatic moves, and that helps drain the fat, because your lymphatic system is very, very slow. And I know this because way back when I first started in imaging, we used to do this really horrific exam called lymphangiograms, where we used to look at people's lymph nodes. And the best way to do that, where the lymph vessels are close to the surface, is the top of the foot. Now they're clear, so basically we had to inject people between their toes with a blue dye that is picked up by the lymph vessels, and they're very, very thin, kind of like a little bit thicker than a piece of thread. And then we had to put like a little needle with a catheter in them. And back in those days, we used to say it was kind of like giving a flea an enema. It's like really small and delicate. You have to use those magnifying glasses that you see them, doing the heart surgeries and eye surgeries and stuff like that. And then we would put the contrast in, which took hours just to get the contrast in. And we would image the people the next day, 3 days later. And usually by the time it got to the neck and stuff, it was a week. So we would image them a week. So that's how slow your lymph vessels move from your foot to your neck. Took about a week. So, anything that you could do is taking, to get it moving a little bit faster, that's going to help with your weight loss, and, all else that your lymphatic system does as far as, like draining for infections and so forth. So that really doesn't have too much to do with the red light, but the red light does help, not so much the red light, but the platform that shakes up and down does move the lymphatic system. So that's why a lot of places offer these moving plates for you, to use after your workout, to help move the lymphatics along after your workout. And, so that fat that you just got loose, has a way to drain. You know, is it a big help? Probably not, but, a little help here, a little help there, it all kind of adds up. So much for that little imaging story. So what else do I have here? So those three are my favorite red lights, along with the band, which I didn't bring in here because I have a little power pack that I put that to, and it's got a little pocket that, on the belt, that you could actually put the power pack in if you wanted to walk around. But it's a little bit cumbersome, so I really don't walk around too much with it. Like I said, I tend to use it a lot when I'm kind of winding down, watching TV, getting myself ready to slow down and go to sleep, because we all know how important rest is, especially when we're dieting. We need that rest. We need that recovery. Uh, you know, Losing weight, it's hard on your body. You need to recuperate. So also wanted to mention my favorite electrolyte drink, Element, which has 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 of magnesium. Let's see, I didn't bring the box in here, but personal facts. It does have 5 calories. And they recommend one of these in a bottle, but I always tell people, especially if you're not used to the salt, start with a half a pack in water. You could always add more, but once it's too salty, yes, you could add more. But if you have a bottle of water, it's like you have to dump some out to add more, or get a cup or something like that. So for me, it's easier to tell people start with, a half or a quarter pack, try it. and that's basically how my wife did it, and she's up to a pack a day. We've tried some other brands, and I brought one of them in here. It's called Salt. Again, Element is the main company. These are, companies that I've seen. Oh, they're doing so good. Let's see if we could cash in on this. So they offer. They say add one stick to at least 16 ounces of water, and they have 178 magnesium, 415 of potassium, and 969 of sodium with zero carbs. This also has zero carbs. Let's see if I can see the calorie count on this. Is 3. So this has 5, this has 3. Not much of a difference. This one has a little bit less sodium, a little bit more potassium and magnesium, not really big amounts. So again, they cost about the same, maybe a few cents different per pack, but pretty close to being the same. So again, I always say, why not, stick with the original that I had? And this is, Olympic athletes you see drinking these, NFL players, pro sports players. Yeah, good enough for them, good enough for me. Plus, it gets you to drink more water because it tastes good. And, with all of us working out and dieting, we have to watch our electrolytes. We're not eating anywhere near as much as we used to, and we're working out. So you have to watch the electrolytes. That's one of the things that they usually do tests for um, when they do blood work on people that are on the medication. Again, I want to say I think it's very important for people to get blood work at least like every 6 months. I have my done my blood work regularly throughout my entire life, really. But I look back, and I don't think my doctor ever ordered a A1C on me because I looked back like 3 years and I couldn't find an A1C. So I don't really know what my starting one was. But I was only pre-diabetic, so I guess there really wasn't a reason, but it's really good now. Again, you also want to make sure that it's not messing up your amylase or any of your thyroids or any type of anything that'll show up in your blood work or your pancreas or you know if you're having gallbladder disease, or some people even have kidney disease. And one of the main reasons why people have kidney disease is like I did the 10 milligrams yesterday, and it's kind of like I kind of had to force myself to eat because I was taking 7.5. And also, you kind of have to force yourself to drink. So probably didn't get enough water yesterday. So uh, people are getting dehydrated because they're just not drinking enough. Especially like I said, you you're having to force yourself to eat and drink. Make sure you get enough water because water is just so important. Helps flush out the fat. It stops you from getting the kidney disease. And also, when you're dehydrated, your kidneys tend to develop stones a lot more. When you have the possibility of stones in your kidneys, your likelihood of getting stones in your gallbladder goes up slightly, and you get one of those stones stuck in your bile ducts, and that could be some serious problems. And again, this could be picked up on some of the blood work, which is why I recommend it. That's one reason why I like Join Mochi, is because I go to my doctor every 6 months, and I haven't seen him in like a little over 3 months, and I was looking on their site to order my next batch of medication. And they say, "Oh, do you want to get blood work? We could order that. We could have our nurse practitioner order that. Do you want just the routine A1C cholesterol and all that, or do you want your kidneys checked too?" And I checked it, and they sent me a message back, that they sent a script over to LabCorp, and I had my blood work done and it was all fine. I think it's great that I think people should keep up on that, because you don't know how important that really is, especially on this medication, because you don't want things to happen. And I know I'm not eating nearly as much. Excuse me, most people aren't eating. And again, some days I really have to force myself to drink. And on those days, I probably don't drink enough. especially living in South Florida where so many people are dehydrated anyhow because of the weather. So like I'm drinking extra water today with the extra electrolytes because I did do my workout in Hot Works this morning. I did 30 minutes of the rowing exercises, which also does core and arm in 125-degree sauna. So like while I was doing that, I drank a full bottle of water, drank a bottle of water after that. Then I went to my gym and pretty much had another bottle after that. This is another bottle that I'm having. Uh, I have only used a half a packet of the electrolytes because I don't want to have too much in one day. Just, because I knew I was going to be drinking extra water. So you do kind of want to watch things like that. Now, yesterday, since I wasn't eating that much, I did these little 8 greenies because I knew I wasn't eating enough and I didn't want my vegetable count to be too off. So one of these in a glass of water, they say has enough vitamin B6 as six cups of spinach. Enough vitamin C as 6 oranges. B5 is the same as 15 cups of broccoli, and B12 is 7 cups of milk, and zinc as much as 3 cups of peas, all in one serving. So I just wanted to make sure that my body had enough of those nutrients in them. Although I did have my smoothie, and since I started on my maintenance, I added do now besides the regular smoothie with the oat milk, I do add thing of high protein yogurt in there, and I've been throwing like a handful of spinach in it every day. So another way to get a little bit more vegetables because I wanted my breakfast. Again, I'm not really a breakfast eater, but I wanted to be a little bit more uh, nutrient dense since I'm on maintenance. 'Cause I don't want to lose anymore. So like I'm adding things, and like if I'm going to have an extra carb, like something in a wrap or um, on a lower carb bun or something like that. I try to do that at lunchtime only because my wife isn't on maintenance yet, and I don't want her to have to sit there and watch me eating a bunch of carbs when she's not having them. Because I don't really miss them that much. Again, I just don't want to lose any more weight, so I have to figure out that balance, and adding a little bit more carbs is one of the things that I'm doing to uh, stay on my maintenance. Uh, we'll be going back down to 7.5. I'll probably do that another week or two. And then I'm going to play around. Like I said, I got food noise with 5. So I'm gonna just do a little bit under 7. With the compound, you can do that. Like I said, you just have to do the math so that you're like a 6 units is 100. Well, then uh, just do the math, figure out what uh, it would be like. 6 units would be basically what I'd be taking to get like 6. So, I'll try that, see how that goes. And, who knows, maybe I will get back down to 5, but, it's a wait and see. Like I said, it's pretty new because these medications have only been used for weight loss for a couple years now. So I know people that have been on maintenance now for like the longest person that I know of, and I'm sure there's more. It's about a year, uh, and sometimes they lose, then they put it back on. People do tend to lose a bit on maintenance because you're just so used to eating what you're eating and your workout and I know I tend to work out more, not less. But, I'm trying to do a little bit less cardio because I don't want to burn quite as many calories, and I'm doing a little bit more of the machines for the muscle loss because I don't want to lose any muscle, although I'm not having rapid weight loss now, but I want to keep my muscles and keep them toned. And I want to get rid of some of this loose skin, which, again, the collagen and the red light helps with that. I'm also doing cool sculpting, uh, not so much the actual cool sculpting, but they do have some skin tightening stuff there. I am trying to they did agree to do an interview. It's just that they're getting some new equipment, and then they want to wait till they have it, and everybody's trained on it, so they could show off their new equipment. And I understand that. Had a couple of other interviews set up, and people schedule like, oh, you want to do? Oh no, I'm working that day, or oh no, yeah, I'm going to be on vacation then. So again, any of you would like to be interviewed on the channel, just leave me a comment on any of my social media. You can comment me on any of the lives or in any of my videos, because I do read your comments. I do appreciate your comments. Um, I am trying to get you out some nice videos. We have another one coming out on the Red True Tide. I don't know if it came out today or if it's coming out tomorrow. I'm working on another red light one. Uh, I'm also working on one that is basically what are the GLP-1s doing to the environment? Because we have all these syringes now, all these plastics, and boxing. Are they trying to do anything to help the environment? Again, not so much on the actual weight loss, but these companies are becoming big, and they have to be kept accountable. So like, I'm doing the research, and I have the video coming out. I'm almost done with the script, so we'll have to see what they're doing, and if they're taking care of the environment. I sure hope so, because I'm trying to do my part. I'm hoping that they're trying to do their part. As far as my syringes, like I put them in a little plastic like or little jar or whatever, and we have plenty of red bins at work. I just throw them in there because I don't want them ending up on one of our beaches here in South Florida or anything like that. And I don't want people accidentally getting stuck with needles. And I try to be good to the environment. I'm hoping these companies do too. I'm also working on one that why is it so much less expensive in other countries, and can we buy it from another country and bring it here, or have them ship it here? Because I know, like in England, I believe it's like they're only paying $150 for name brand. Of course, they have socialized medicine there. We don't here, but sure, shipping couldn't be that much. But again, it is cold shipping and stuff like that. I don't think it's legal to do that. Again, I'm still doing the research and the writing on that, so it'll be another interesting one coming up. Uh, Again, we got a little bit off topic, sorry. So we were talking about collagen. Collagen here. This is the collagen that I like. It's the Vital Protein, and each serving has 20 grams of collagen, which is good for skin, hair, nail, and joint support. So, us women who might be losing some of our hair due to the rapid weight loss, this will also help with that, along with biotin, and there's also Nutrafol, but that's expensive. Keep in mind, if you are having some hair loss, it's only temporary, and once you stabilize your weight, it will come back. But all this kind of stuff does help with new hair growth and so forth. I even saw when I was doing my red light thing that they make like a baseball cap that has red lights that's supposed to promote hair loss or promote stopping hair loss. So again, I didn't really do much research into that because that's not happening to me. But I thought that was interesting. I guess everybody's trying to cash in on this huge red light market these days. So what I do with this stuff is I put some in my coffee, and I also throw some into my protein shake. So besides all the regular, I think my shake has 18 or 19 grams of protein. Then I'm adding another 20. And then I believe the yogurt has like 18. So like I'm getting almost 60 grams just from my protein shake in the morning. Uh, and then another 18 or 20 rather in my coffee. One thing I did learn today is we had to look it up because I know one of my friends does intermittent fasting, and she's like, "Oh, if I put this in my coffee, will it break my fast?" And I didn't think it did. And we Googled it, and because of the protein, yes, it does break a fast. So, you know, maybe she could have it in her afternoon cup of coffee, possibility. But uh, I've never been really big on intermittent fasting. I do have a video on it. Please watch it. It's very informative, only because, again, I'm really not a breakfast person. So my last bit of food is usually like between 7:30 and 8 o'clock at night. And I don't really eat again till like 10:30, 11 at the earliest. So that's pretty close to intermittent fasting. Although, yes, I do have this collagen in my coffee. So technically, if I was fasting, that would break it. So like if I didn't have that and just went like one more hour, it would be considered intermittent fasting. So I guess that's probably why it never really did anything for me, because I kind of do it anyhow. So yeah, that's the story with that. So if you are doing intermittent fasting, watch out, because collagen does um, break your fast. Now, there's also marine collagen, and there's one that's a combination. Uh, we've tried a couple of them. This one, same brand, we had the marine collagen, and it just didn't mix in quite as well. I get the unflavored. They do make flavored ones, but I prefer this particular kind because it mixes very well. Speaking of which, let's have a little bit of coffee myself. So we did the red lights. We did my little greenies. One other thing that I do, like I said, I happen to use Thrive by Lavelle. I really like their protein shakes. They do have a little bit of caffeine in them. And by the way, if you haven't seen our protein shake showdown video, please watch it, because we took like I think it was like 12 different protein shakes, and my wife and I, we test tasted them to see which one we like better, both taste, texture, and also amount of protein. So anyhow, I like the Thrive by Lavelle because, again, I like my protein shakes, the ones that you get in the little packaging, the jar. I want to say jar, but it's really not a jar, and it's really not a bottle. But I guess it is kind of a bottle. Um, I I like them thicker. I like it more like a smoothie. So like I put like 3/4 a cup of ice in mine. I throw the collagen in, and now that I'm really putting Greek yogurt in, it really gets thick. And they have some really good flavors, and they have this 3-part delivery system where you take one or two of their pills in the morning, and basically it's a really good pre and probiotic. And then about anytime up to half an hour, 45 minutes later, you have their smoothie, and then they have like a little patch that you put on that gives you B12 all through the day, and a couple of other good stuff in there, and has some anti-inflammatory type of stuff like a tree bark that aspirin's made out of, and so forth. So I just really like that system. I don't work by them. I don't for them. I don't get paid by them. Uh, so I just like their product. Uh, and if you like a product, you like a product. It's pretty much it. So I do like that. Now, at night, after my dinner, I love my fruit. I have my fruit for dessert. Really love it. I happen to have the Boys Farmers Market where I get most of my seafood and some of my meats. And they make prepared foods, which they also make for delis and stuff like that. So it's not, all this processed food. 'Cause sometimes I just don't have time to meal prep for lunch. So a lot of times I buy the stuff from them. Although I also get from them by like the already made up shrimp. I have that a lot for lunches and so forth. But I have my food, and lately I've been on a kick, especially since I'm on maintenance, and I am trying to get a little bit more calories in. because I love peanut butter cup, but I don't really like the sugar from them. So this one here, my favorite. Oops, I thought I brought the other box in here. Atkins also. This is the Atkins. I think they also make a smaller version, which I was having as I was trying to lose weight because it's half the calories. Because this one does have 160 calories in a cup, but it's a pretty good size cup. Like I said, they do. I think Atkins makes a smaller one. Like I said, when I was trying to lose weight, I would have those once in a while because sometimes you just got to have chocolate, and I really like the chocolate and peanut butter. As a matter of fact, somebody had, it was a little bit after Halloween, they had some, candy that they brought in. I tried a Reese's peanut butter cup and I'm like, oh, that is so sweet. I couldn't even stand it. I actually prefer these because they're, you could taste the chocolate and you could taste the peanut butter more. With the Reese's, I was just tasting the sugar. I didn't like that. As a matter of fact, I think it's Atkins makes chocolate truffle that I think four of them have like 120 calories and like very low sugar and so forth, which uh, we tried. I liked it. Prefer my peanut butter cups. I think my wife prefers the other one because, again, don't even remember the big name brand of the truffles. That's just too sweet for me now. It's just, I don't really enjoy it. It's like, somebody brought donuts to work and they're like, oh, just taste this, because this was your favorite. It was the Boston cream. I took a bite. It was just so disgustingly sweet. I'm like, nah, like you get used to it. I don't know why, especially Americans are so hooked on their sugar because, once you get off of it a little bit, you actually taste the food, which is amazing, or we weren't actually even tasting it. So these Atkins keto, the 8 of them come in a box. We'll warn you, the box costs about $9.99, $10. So they are a little over $1 each. But what can you do? 160 calories. It does have 14 grams of fat. No cholesterol. A little bit of sodium. It has 12 grams of carbohydrates, but 6 of fiber. So a fiber kind of negates half of the carbs. So it's kind of like only like half that. So I mean, like if you're eating something with carbs and it has real high fiber, I'm not going to say it doesn't count because it does count, but it kind of wipes it out and makes it a little bit okay. So it has less than a gram of sugar, so basically no sugar, and each one has 3 grams of protein. Yeah, not a super lot, but hey, it adds up. If you're going to have it, why not have a little bit of protein in there? It tastes good. I really like it. It does contain nuts, so hence the peanut butter cups. So if you have a nut allergy, not recommend. So again, a lot of Atkins products like that. I can look up some more if anybody's interested. That uh, so coming up, I have yet another red light video coming up. I am gonna do another what I eat in a day and actually log down everything that I eat because I did one back when I first started my channel. But that was that long ago. It's only been a little more than 2 months, but it was kind of based on the last year of eating, and it's changed now, especially since I'm on maintenance. So I'm gonna update that and do a new one. Got the one on environment coming up. Uh, got another one on the future of GLP-1 medications because they are finding more and more uses of this. And insurance companies, why insurance companies uh, are so reluctant to pay for this medication. Hi, Carol. I'm glad you joined us. Uh, First off, it's a big upfront expense. Uh, each dose, we'll round it off at $1,000, but some of them are even more. And the average person changes insurance every 3 years. So if somebody who's, let's say, 350 pounds, considered obese, starts to take this, and they get the benefits. Sometimes it takes like 2 years to get down to your good weight. They're on another insurance company. That insurance company is going to reap the benefits. So that's why they're a little bit reluctant. Plus, it's an upfront charge. Even though in the long run they're going to be saving money, that's not till years down the road, because pretty much if these medications were available and used more, so forth, most people with type 2 diabetes would be off of insulin, which is huge because the insulin itself costs a lot of money. And when you're off the insulin, like a lot of times you can get off the blood pressure medications or the statins or any of the other medications. It helps with heart disease. So if you saved your heart, and you're not going to need a bypass operation. Those can run anywhere from $30,000 to $100,000 for those operations, let alone all the aftercare and the medications and so forth after that. So the insurance companies, they're willing to pay for that, but that's because they need it. They don't look at it as in the future, you know, Joe Blue isn't going to need that, because chances are Joe Blue, by the time he needs his cardiac bypass operation, it's going to be 3 or 4 insurance companies from now, because every time you change jobs, you usually get a new insurance. I was with the same company for 12 years. It seemed like towards the end, every year we changed insurance companies to one that was just a little bit cheaper for them. So, like, even on the same job, you change insurances a lot. Uh, I'm not going to have that problem now because I'm on Medicare, although the supplement might be different. There are Medicare rules, which they're working on as far as weight loss medications, because Medicare will not allow any weight loss medication covered, which they are working on Congress on changing that a little bit. And also with all these new things that they're finding out that it does, and it's getting approval, like it's already approved for sleep apnea. Again, people are saying it's very hard to get it approved uh, by their insurance companies for sleep apnea, but for heart disease, and then if they get some of these like addictions approved, now they're saying that it helps prevent. The only medication that helps prevent Alzheimer's by 12% gets approved for that, and it gets all these other improvements. Time to take some water if you're mispronouncing simple words like that. But they're also looking into it for fertility, because for some reason people are getting pregnant left and right on this drug. So they're uh, doing studies on addiction of both amphetamines and uh, antidepressants, uh, pain medications, uh, gambling addictions. So, like I said, the more that it gets approved for, the better chances insurance companies are going to pick it up. Plus, like some of these bigger companies are saying, okay, we're going to, let because a lot of it's up to the HR departments at the company whether they'll approve it, because it affects their rates. A lot of these bigger companies, I don't know the exact name, but let's just use like Xerox, which is a big thing. Let's say they approve it for weight loss, and they're a pretty big company. and then other companies start doing it to keep up with them. The more it gets approved, the wider uh, range of people that are using it, then it's going to kind of trickle down, and the smaller companies will start approving it. So that's going to help with the insurance. Like I said, in the long run, insurance companies are going to save money, but they're not looking at the long run. They're looking at short haul, which is right now they have to put out like $1,000 per dose per person. They, they don't want to right now. They want to make more money, which is, like I said, it's kind of weird considering in England they only pay $150 for a dose. So again, different type of medicine that they practice there than they do in the United States. But just goes to show you that it can be done. Uh, so, we have one in that same video that we're talking about how hospitals are now shifting their budget around because some people are opting for the medication as opposed to bariatric surgery, especially with the new medications coming out. They have the same, if not better, results statistically than bariatric surgery, and basically, no recovery time and no OR time, risk of OR complications and stuff like that. And with less people getting the bariatric surgeries, hospitals aren't getting that money and the bariatric doctors aren't. So they're shifting things around to try to find out, how to move things around so that everybody still makes money. And then they could actually send some of these funds to ER, intensive care, places where it's needed desperately. So the money is going to get shifted around and stuff like that. But you know, it is going to change the way spending is in healthcare. If everything keeps going on track like it is now. So, video coming out soon on that. Like I said, the environment uh, still on ads. How to, again, be careful too, because if compounding is starting to come to an end, I'm seeing a lot of like ads for people and weird places selling the Glp-1s, and these little spas are popping up all over. Don't know what kind of leases or what kind of actually, accreditations that they have, but you're going to see a lot of that. So be aware of scams that are going to be coming up because of this whole compounding might be coming to an end or changing type of thing, and rules changing and things like that. Uh, Again, if you see any ad that says no prescription needed, run like hell because there's a problem. Or some of them even have fake telehealth visits. So again, do a little bit of research. Check out the places, check out what pharmacies they use. You want them using a legitimate compounding pharmacy. You don't want it made in somebody's garage because who knows what's in it then. And just be aware they're popping up. Um, Video on how to spot that. I have a video coming up on uh, why all of a sudden we're seeing more ads for this, for compounding, and more ads for the name brands. So that's coming in the near future. Looking forward to giving all of you the latest and best information. Anything I do find out about the compounding companies, gonna give you a 5-10 minute breaking news live if I have to, because it's important. You need to stay informed. And again, it's not time to panic buy, but we do want you to be aware so that if it is going to take longer or be a little bit harder to get, to take the time to do this, and to do your research. Again, my favorite company, Join Mochi, which on my YouTube site I have a link and I have my code, which will get you $40 off of your first shipment. And they charge $79 monthly fee, and then it's $199 any dose. Doesn't matter what the dose is. Which I've done a lot of shopping around, and that seems to be like the least expensive. Some people at work have told me, "Oh, there's a new little spa that popped up in Boynton Beach that has it for $199, and they think that their visit will be covered on our insurance. They go right there. There's a clue. One, it just popped up. What do you know about them? Where are they getting their medication? You have to pay for the initial visit. The initial visit is included with most of these telehealth companies. Same thing with Orderly. That's included, but Orderly does charge a little bit more, and their price goes up with every dose. And I didn't particularly like that. So all in all, Joy Mochi is to $278 any dose. Period. Doesn't matter if you're on 5 or if you're on, now they have 16 point something, but they're equivalent to 15. So it doesn't matter which one you're on, it's the same price. The original one that I used sent it to you already in the syringes, in the insulin syringes, which, as I did some research, I found out should never happen because all they did was put a little sticker on it, with whatever dose it was. It came warm. Their answer was, well, you're in South Florida, we're in Central Florida. It's warm, nothing you could do about it. So it's 99% effective. Live with it, deal with it. And then when I asked, well, what pharmacy are you using? Oh, well, we're going to give you $25 off on your next thing, and we're going to overnight it from now on for you. So I asked again, and then it's like, okay, one time only, we're going to give you $40 off. But they wouldn't tell me. And that basically was the last time that I used them. I did use them because I knew it was going to take a little bit to get into another um, telehealth company, which at first I went and used Care Clinic, which I liked, and they were really good. The only thing that I didn't like about them, and they use Red Rock, which is a very good pharmacy, is every time you needed a refill, you had to schedule another telehealth visit, which medically it's not bad to talk to somebody once a month, but you know, so they had a time that worked with my time, and and then the telehealth itself took like 20 minutes, and it's like that once a month was a little much on that. So then I went to Orderly, which I liked Orderly. I was a little leery at first because, like, I sent him my copy of my prescription because I didn't want to start over. And I got a text from the doctor, like, you don't have to bother with a telehealth visit. And as a matter of fact, we're going to increase your dose, which I thought was a little bit weird. Although my prescription was only a month old, because, like I said, I used Care Clinic, the month before that. But thought that was a little weird, but heard nothing but good things about Orderly. And it came and it was super cold and everything was good. And then they started with the multi-dose thing, and that was a disaster because they weren't ready for it. And they probably should have waited till they were ready for it. 'Cause that took like 3 months to get everything straight. And I heard a lot of people having a lot of problems with it. Uh, was packaged in a little medicine bottle with wrapped in a little coolie thing. It was cool. It wasn't cold. It was cool. Kind of like weird packaging though. Again, so I figured I'm gonna stop with them because they're having so much hard time with this multi-vial stuff that I figured, I'm gonna try Joy Mochi, and I could always go back to Orderly if I wanted to, but first of all, Joy Mochi was a little bit cheaper. Uh, they didn't really seem to have a problem. Now they have started with multi-dosing. And yes, it does take a little bit longer, but we're talking like instead of the 4 or 5 days, it might take 10 days, nothing huge. Again, so keep this in mind if you're planning on ordering more doses, and it's probably especially going to get even busier now with all these rumors like what's happening with the compound. Should I stock up? And, so people are buying extra, and more people are, going to the compound because they don't know what's going to happen. So, again, just give it some time, make sure you have enough. Uh, so that I have one of the guys that I work with, he is switching to to doing mochi, and he is using one of these little clinic things, which he said he checked out. I don't know how much he checked out, but he did. And he's, just goes in there once a month for his dose. Again, to me, that's an awful lot of visits, but uh, once he switches over, he probably will drop them. Understand that, but uh, again, these places seem to be popping up all of a sudden. Where were they when everybody was getting all this compounding? So I want to go back to that first place because it's really funny because the last time that I ordered it, it came out to like $800 for the month. And I'm like, well, that's almost the price of name brand without with paying cash. You can get it for like 1,000, 1,100. And then if you have a coupon, you can get it 650. So they're charging even more. So I thought that was kind of weird. Again, be leery of places like that because they weren't following the rules. They're charging a lot. They're just trying to make as much money as they can, which I'm sure all the compounding companies are trying to make as much money as they can. But you could do it in a way where you don't like screw the people. Basically, it's that's what it comes down to. I mean, because nobody likes to see their medication come warm. 'Cause, yes, it's a very stable compound that's in there. And yes, probably worst case scenario, it's not quite as effective. I'll be honest, I've taken out of date stuff that's, probably not 100% effective, but even if it's 95 or 90%, I'm willing to do that. That's just me being me. I don't recommend that. That's, like I said, me being me. Uh, be wary of the best use by date. Again, I have used stuff past expiration dates. Don't recommend it. Again, that's just me. And they say that once a vial has been opened, you should get rid of it if it's more than 28 days. I'm going to be honest with you too. I've had vials open for a month and a half because I changed doses and I didn't want to do the math, whatever. And again, I did check the medication. I did check it when it was in the syringe, made sure it was clear. I always alcohol everything up first. Wash my hands before I do anything. Alcohol up the vial, draw it up, alcohol the skin. Of alcohol involved. Uh, so, that's the best thing that you can do. Uh, Recommend doing that. I also have some videos on how to self-inject. And again, it says to do that. I also have a video on how to split a dose, even if it comes in the zip-bound syringe. Basically, you take the little needle and line it up into a little syringe, press it, and let it go into the thing, and then you have it in one of the insulin syringes. Again, then you're also keeping, putting some like into another syringe after that, or you can put it right into a vial. More times it passes through something, greater chance of infection. So if you're going to do something like that, keep the area clean, keep your hands clean, alcohol everything, and keep in mind when you are using it, check the medication, make sure it's not cloudy, all that kind of stuff, and just keep things clean. And not recommending doing that, but I know people are, so I'm telling them how to do it if you're going to do it. Kind of like O.J. Simpson's book, If I Would Have Done It, that type of thing. So again, we talked about the red light, the compounding, March 19th, I'm sorry, March 18th, or when the injunction is settled one way or another, whichever is later. That's what they're going by. They say that they will let these companies ship stuff out into their bud date. Like I said, some of them are a year or longer, so it's going to be around for a bit. And it's probably going to happen with some of these 503A pharmacies. Who knows? Maybe they'll become 503B and allowed to do this kind of thing. Who knows? Uh, Again, I also have a video on what's the difference between 503A and 503B. Uh, just in case you're interested, I know that that's not about losing weight, about your journey, but we're all using these pharmacies. I just thought, maybe somebody wants to know what the difference is. So, watch the video. Hopefully, you're learning something from all these experiences. Any suggestions? I'm doing my cooking series. I'm also integrating some uh, less expensive foods because I've had a friend say, "Oh, I can't afford spending $25, $30, even though that is for two on dinner. Uh, Even for one, being that it'd be 15 or so. Like, I can't afford that every day. So I'm looking for some less expensive. And again, we eat mainly fish, so I'm using some less expensive fish, which some of it is some tilapia, which isn't healthiest of all fish, only because the mercury content tends to be a little bit higher. That like orange roughy, same type of thing. So can be a little bit aware of what you're eating and mercury content, and that people do have to watch that. That's why I try not to eat too much of that. I do eat tilapia and maybe like once a month, or orange roughy like once a month. I do try to limit that. Uh, I happen to get like my pork chops from a butcher. You could get them at the local grocery store. Again, just kind of be aware of the amount of fat that's in them, which is why I buy them from the butcher, because I will pay the little bit more to have less fat, have the fat trimmed off and things like that. But again, that's just me. I'll be me, you be you. I have a couple of seafood ones coming up where I think I paid $10 for two people for the seafood. So you can't even go to McDonald's for $5. And yes, I buy my fresh vegetables in the bag or in the container that can be popped into the microwave that's already cut up. I pay a little bit extra for that convenience, but that's just because it's so late. That's me. You can buy the stuff and cut it up yourself and get it a lot cheaper. So, that's another way that you could save. Usually, my cost, I don't put the cost of vegetables, because if I'm buying it in the package, somewhere around $4. Sometimes they go on sale. Uh, like I said, I know you could buy a head of cauliflower, some broccoli, a lot cheaper, and cut it up yourself. But I just choose to pay a little bit extra because I just don't have the time for that. I don't get home from work till between 6:30 and 7, and I want to be done with dinner and resting and all that by 8 o'clock. So I want it ready in like 10, 12 minutes. So I pay a little bit extra for that. So again, that's not really included so much in the price of it, because that varies. You could go to a farmer's market and get it a lot cheaper, cut it up yourself. I mean, there's vegetables on sale. There's, I'm not against frozen vegetables, but obviously fresh is better. Now, when I work a lot and I'm going to be working, say, 6 days or even 7 days in a row sometimes, I can't buy enough fresh vegetables to last that long. So yes, I will have some of the frozen vegetables. I try to get ones that just don't have a super lot of additives and things like that. Although I do have to say, I am one of these people that like the frozen broccoli with cheese, because I don't know how they get it so much cheese for so little calories, and I know it's loaded with stuff I probably shouldn't be having, but I don't have that often. So again, be reasonable and don't be hard on yourself if you have to do something like that, because you know we have to live too. You know, uh, there's always restaurants. There's even some fast food that isn't quite as bad for you. I have a video on that. Again, Taco Bell even makes like a chicken taco that's not too bad. It has a decent amount of protein. And we're keep in mind some things like soft shell, less carbs, and a little bit better for you than the hard, crunchy ones. So, just little tips. If you're going to a restaurant, it tends to be grilled chicken, grilled salmon, grilled fish tends to be best for you, along with some vegetables. If you're going to get the salad there, you could ask for a flavored vinaigrette or a light vinaigrette, or just get the dressing on the side so you don't use so much. Lots of little tips. Bring some from home if you have to. I used to do that all the time because one time I was on this crazy diet for quick weight loss and basically had to either use, they wanted to use their salad dressing because then they made the money, but it was really the same thing as maybe something farms, the zero calorie dressing, or the same like Skinny Girl, which is basically 0 calorie dressing. So I use that instead of paying a fortune for their 3 packets, literally for $7 when you could get $4 a full bottle. And it's crazy. But that's how those companies used to make the money. And trust me, I've been on all these diets. I've lost the same 40 pounds, put it back on, lost it, put it back on. Jenny Craig lost it, put it back on. Nutrisystem several times, Weight Watchers several times. This seems to be lasting. And that's also one of the reasons why I started this channel, is one, to give you guys tips and to talk about my journey and tell you what I've learned. And it keeps me accountable, and we all have to be accountable and not to be too hard on yourself. Because, like I said the other day, I did have a bite of a donut. It was disgustingly sweet, and I couldn't eat it, and didn't really want to. Oh, come on, come on, I brought it for you. I can't put it back. Nobody can eat it. One of those types of things. Um, Took the bite, too sweet, got rid of it. Taste change. Again, it was amazing that all I could taste was sugar. I couldn't even taste anything else. So again, it's nice to be able to actually taste the food, which is why I like these. And the chart, you could actually taste it, and you're not disgusted by the amount of sugar. And you can have this once in a while. And again, I prefer it. My wife prefers it. We both like it. Uh, Again, this has a little bit of protein, only 3 grams, but everything adds up. They do make a smaller size. I think it's Atkins that makes it. I'm not 100% sure, but they literally sell it right next to this one. So that's why I'm thinking it's Atkins, because usually Atkins has a whole little section. Uh, and they do make other kinds of little sweet treats and stuff like that. Said, this is a new way of life. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm never going to have anything like that again." I'm glad they make these kind of substitutes because they are better for you. Uh, Why not? Again, I don't eat anywhere near as much of these as I used to when before I was on this medication and was considered obese. Obviously, the way I eat, what I eat, has become has changed. Let's see. Uh, Carol lost the same 50 pounds on Nutrisystem 4 times and always came back. Yep. That's, like I said, that's one reason why these medications, I can't believe that insurance companies are really fighting on a lower dose maintenance, because, you're going to go through all this good stuff, get off all of these medications, and then they say what 60% of people will gain it right back because they'll go to their old habits. So if you are for some reason going off it, whether it's insurance, you just want to be over it, keep the activity up. Remember all the smart choices that you've learned and keep practicing them, because that's going to help you keep it off. Remember your smart meals. Remember to keep those proteins high. Remember to drink lots and lots of water, because that helps with a lot of things. The weight loss helps you feel full, helps with your kidneys. It just helps with so much. Whenever I'm not feeling good, I just drink extra water. That's another thing with this medication. They have found that people on GLP-1 medications don't get the flu or get sick as often. So now they're doing studies on that. I heard that they're going to be doing a study on if you get percentage of people that get COVID while on GLP-1 versus people that aren't. I would not like to be part of that study because I don't want to get COVID again. It's inevitable that we probably will at some point, but fortunately, the newer variations are getting weaker and weaker and easier to tolerate. So that's the good thing. And who knows, maybe these GLP-1 medications will help with things like that. So I was always wondering if they're doing a study on smoking because I don't know too many people that smoke on this medication. They say it's so good with addiction that who knows. Just me with some thoughts here. I haven't read anything on that or haven't done any research, but it would be interesting. Uh, so that's about all the news that's there. Keep you up to date on what's happening with the compounds. I am doing. I'm going to be interviewed on the downsize sometime next month. Now I know that they have a couple weeks after that before they put it out, so I'll let you guys know when that interview is. And who knows? Maybe they'll let me interview them. Could always ask. Be an interesting interview. Uh, Again, they're another terrific site if you want to check them out. The downsized. Uh, Also, a lot of good information. I've talked to Chris several times via email and messaging. So uh, they seem like really good people. They just got back from a cruise and they're having their own cruise. I'm nowhere near in that category yet, but who knows? Maybe a year or two from now, we'll be having a journey and review cruise. Who knows? So uh, again, keep in mind, compounding companies are very busy. Do your research if you're just starting or if you're changing or if you're getting the medication from someplace else. Find out what pharmacy that they use. Do your research on them. Make sure it's a good pharmacy, good compounding pharmacy, because all that's important. Again, if they don't want to tell you which pharmacy they're going to use, probably a good time to switch. That's what ended up happening with me, and I switched. So uh, keep you up to date on all that. Again, any suggestions on what you want me to talk about, please put them in the comments here on any of my videos. Uh, have plenty of social media sites. I have a GLP-1 Journey and Review Facebook page, also a support group on Facebook. I haven't been doing a lot of work, so that's not growing very well because I'm really working on the channel right now. Because to me, that's the most important thing is keeping you people informed. And then when I get that growing a little bit, I'll switch over to have conversations amongst all of you people, go from there. So I want you all to have a great rest of your evening. Uh, some new videos coming out, some more cooking stuff. Normally, I've gone through a lot of my recipes, so trying to be creative on some of these and also make them a little bit less expensive. On a video coming up where I used mainly Parmesan cheese with a little bit of panko. I didn't want to make it seem like it was too fried, even though I made it in the air fryer, so it wasn't really fried. So I didn't dredge it in egg first, and it still came out pretty good. So, I'm learning along with you guys. And again, my wife is really happy that I'm trying some less expensive fishes and things like that. I'm happy too. I was thinking of maybe doing some chicken sausage, maybe some onions with it or something a little bit lighter. Who knows? Because we all know we can get that a little bit less expensive. I've already done like the omelet, which, by the way, I thought the omelet pan worked really well until I cleaned it and the whole coating came off while I cleaned it. So that went right into the garbage. So that didn't work out well at all. But eggs, even with the price of them the way that they are, considering that like 3 egg omelet or 3 eggs is really a big portion, it does come out to an inexpensive meal. And once in a while, I do like breakfast for dinner. So I want y'all to have a good weekend. I'll keep you informed. Lori out.